Squeaky from Washington, there are a lot of wrestling conspiracies out there, such as Vince Russo being sent to WCW as a plant, the Randy Savage and Stephanie McMahon supposed scandal, and the Montreal Screwjob being a work. Oh, don't forget Kevin Sullivan being a Satanist and murdering Benoit and his family. Yes, there are people who still believe this. Out of all the crazy conspiracy theories in wrestling, is there at least one that you find somewhat believable? Yeah, that it was some combination of Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, and or Stephanie McMahon who leaked those emails to the Wall Street Journal in 2022 about Vince McMahon. I do believe that. I can't prove it. I don't believe any of the really popular wrestling conspiracies. Like Montreal was a work. No, it wasn't. Sheamus accidentally won his first WWE championship. No, he didn't. There were 2 Ultimate Warriors. No, there weren't. Macho Man boned an underage Stephanie McMahon. I don't believe he did. I think Vince would have had him killed. Savage gave Hulk Hogan the black eye that we all saw him with at WrestleMania 9. That one is at least plausible, but I still don't buy it. If you watch that WrestleMania 9 documentary that they put out on Peacock last year, the year before, whenever it was, Hogan says he told that to the doctor when he got to Caesar's Palace that day with that black eye. And he had to go get checked out by medical, and he claimed that he told that story to the doctor to sell him on the fact that it was a wrestling feud. It was a wrestling angle, and it was a makeup job so that the doctor would clear him to work that day. Otherwise, if he knew that it was a jet ski accident and the eye was all fucked, he would never have gotten cleared. Now, mind you, this is Hogan saying this, but I think it's more likely he did make up that story to tell the doctor, and it got around, and people took it as real, that Savage really did deck him in the face. If there's one that I could buy into, kind of, it has to do with Shawn Michaels and his back injury. I believe the back injury was very real. And that's what took him out for the rest of 1998 into 99. What I don't buy is that he lost 4 years of his career to that back injury. I think it was maybe a year. I think if he wanted to come back and get cleared within a year, he could have been back in the ring. I think the rest of it was him dealing off and on with his addiction issues. And once he got past all of that, that made it possible for him to consider an in-ring return. And it's not like he didn't work a match earlier than that. I mean, he had his own promotion, and he wrestled the match in 2000, even though he didn't come back to WWE in the ring until 2002. So him being gone for that long, the 4.5-year layoff, that wasn't the back injury. I think he was long over the back injury by then. That's my theory. It was all that other stuff that kept him out of the ring. And it's good that it did, because had he gone back there while he was still all fucked up in the middle of the Attitude Era, he would have been dead a long time ago. There's no way that Shawn Michaels would still be alive today. Ronnie from Belgium. If the allegations never became public, do you think Vince McMahon would still have sold WWE? Would he have sold it when he did? No. Would he have eventually sold it? Yes. Stephanie did not want him to sell it. She wanted to keep it in the family. And he sold it anyway. And then when he forced his way back in, she resigned as the co-CEO. So that's where she stood on the issue. But I think he would have eventually sold it to someone outside the family regardless. I just don't think he would have done it in 2023. Adam Maniac Masaglia, who I have not heard from in forever. I haven't written into you in a while. I hope you're doing well. I don't know if you know about OSW Review. Oh, I do. Shout out to the OSW crew. But the guys made themselves something called a boy stable. It consists of 5 wrestlers, usually not very popular mid-carders from any era, that have never held a world championship that they are a big fan of. So I ask you, who is in your boy stable? I mean, this just sounds so wrong. I have a stable of boys. They're out in my shed. All right, I'm going to assume guys like Owen Hart and Mr. Perfect and Razor Ramon, they don't count. Even though Hennig held the AWA world title, so he shouldn't count anyway. But I'm assuming guys like that don't count. I wouldn't really call those guys mid-carders per se. They main evented at different points in their career. They just never stayed there, right? Or they never held the big one. So I'm going to put them on the side because those are the obvious ones I would go with. Owen, Razor. I will go with, who will I go with? I'm going to say Big Boss Man is one. I always liked the Boss Man. For like a bigger guy, he always moved around really well. He sold. It was so funny watching him sell sometimes. And even when he came back in 98 with the black tactical gear, and sometimes he would come out and it's like, oh God, here comes, you kind of get tired of seeing someone after a while. That's kind of how I felt about him there towards the end. But he had that fun, like hardcore title run and the stuff with Al Snow and Big Show, which was a horrible match. And it was terribly tasteless, but I laughed. So I'll go Big Boss Man. I will say Bam Bam Bigelow. Steve Blackman. Don't fuck with Steve Blackman. And let's see. How many is that? That's 3, right? D'Lo Brown. Big fan of D'Lo. You can't see it, but I'm moving my head back and forth right now. And let's see. One more. If you listen to this podcast back when I was reviewing NXT week to week, when they were still at Full Sail, this is in the black and gold days, then you know full well that I was a big fan, a big mark for Tyler Breeze. When he initially debuted with that gimmick and the selfie stick and the music and everything, he sang his own song. I was a big Tyler Breeze fan. And then, of course, he got called up to the main roster, and he's talking about mid-carder. That's being generous. I'll go with Tyler Breeze. Big Boss Man, Bam Bam Bigelow, Steve Blackman, D'Lo Brown, and Tyler Breeze. There you go. What a faction. These days, actually, there's 2 more people I could put on that list from AEW. I would say Mark Davis and the Blackheart, Leo Rush. I'm a fan of both of them. I would put them in there, too, as like 2 backups.